Synergy Nation Network podcast. Shows for those with passion. Visit us online at synnation.net.
I hear you, James.
I see you as well, sir. Yes, I freaking subverted expectations. We need to talk about something because you brought it up before we recorded last week's episode with Voidmaster.
Okay.
You were like, hey, you moved your head and you had a sign that says, I'm a game changer. Now I notice that you have a sticker as well that says, I'm a James changer.
It's I'm a James changer all around.
That's what I meant to say. The phrase is, I'm a game changer. Why and when did you purchase these?
Well, it's a free arbitrage, I'll have you know. Heather works for the state, so she's in with a lot of different, corporations because they got to pay their taxes to the state. And some of them, send our house, weird stuff. And the James River Association sent us this yard flag and this sticker. And Heather opened it up, saw it, and immediately threw it in the garbage. Actually, in the garbage can. And I was like, "What are you doing? That's James River stuff." And at first, I was thinking grift horse. I was like, some snob on River Road is gonna love this flag because it's a James River Association thing. And then it dawned on me. I'm like, James, I'm a James changer. I can change James McCullum, a.k.a. MARSH LAND MONSTER. So hence, I grabbed that flag out of the trash can, and I'm not going to sell it. I'm keeping it. I love this thing.
What are you changing of me?
I'm changing your television viewing habits. You would never watch The Wheel of Time without me.
I probably would have if I knew it was a fantasy show and not a time travel show.
I had to have changed your mind about a number of subjects we've discussed. This is our 23rd episode. So that means
I don't think so.
Well, you've changed me, so maybe my sign should say, James is a Steve changer, because I've realized that, sure, I always like to say I see you because it's associated with the Wheel of Time, and I like the understanding aspect of it, but I'm like, well, you can hear somebody and you can understand them that way as well. So you're a Steve changer, so I want to be a James changer as well.
It should say, I'm a James changed me. I don't know.
Yeah, I'm a James changed individual.
Yeah. Oh, Steven, how are you doing this week?
Woo, everything's wild, James. I'm proof positive that you can be handed everything you want in life, and you can be in the cusp of things that you want to happen, and you can still be crippled by depression for an entire day despite everything going great. I spent a day just not being able to talk or move or anything despite wonderful things happening to me. So yeah, I've bounced back since then, but it's definitely clinical, James. It's not situational depression.
Yeah.
But yeah, despite that, it's been going pretty good. We're both one-man band operations. We both mostly make music by ourselves these days, but now I'm joining other individuals in playing, and it's a whole different ballgame. It's a lot easier to play music by yourself with you being your own critic and your own drummer and your own bass player than it is to have some other individuals in the room. I've forgotten about that. It's been about 6 years since I've played with other people that I've never played with before. Me and Heather have been playing, but that's second nature. Me and Sam have been playing, but we've been playing together since we were children. Yeah. So playing with these new guys, it's a whole different ball game, and it's. Have you seen Freaks and Geeks?
I have seen the first 2 or 3 episodes, enjoyed it, but then for some weird reason, it's like Breaking Bad. I was like, this is really good, and then just did not continue to watch it.
Yeah, I do the same thing with lots of shows, too, that I recognize they're great. Russian Doll is one of those that I started watching and then just stopped for no reason. I loved it, and I just stopped watching it. Freaks and Geeks, there's an audition scene where Jason Segel goes and auditions for a band, and the audition goes terribly. And I was almost in his shoes just last week. I showed up, my guitar was tuned to a different key than theirs, so I had to retune on the fly. They were impressed I was able to adapt so quickly. And then there was a song that I've been rehearsing, and it starts out with a quick 2-quarter beat, and that's how I've been rehearsing it. And then I get there and they're like, no, we started on the 1. And So it took like a few false starts before we could actually get a song going with all of us in unison. And it was terribly embarrassing. But these are terribly wonderful people.
I mean, those don't seem like your issue. That seems hey, I mean, that's a time management scheduling thing. The first thing of, hey, what tune should I be in? Or, hey, dude, when you're here, we tune this way. And then that weird thing, if it's the, hey, I've been listening to this and practicing, that's also on them if they're like, oh, no, we do it slightly different.
I'm going to go back this week, and I'm going to be like, hey, y'all, it's on you. MARSH LAND Monsters did it's all on you,
yeah, guys.
No, but it went great, though. It went really well, and that was a good part of my week. I outsmarted a nest of hornets today. I thought that was I'm smarter than a whole swarm of insects. I think that's pretty great. I didn't kill any of them. None of them stung me, and I got my job done. It was great.
Okay, so what WWE superstar or blue-collar comedy tour comedian would host Are You Smarter Than a Hive of Hornets?
I would hope it would be Tater Salad. Is that his name? Ron White?
Yes, Ron White is his name. Tater Salad is an alias he made up.
Yeah, I would get him just because he charms the socks off of me for some reason.
Okay, and then what WWE superstar would host the reboot on Nickelodeon? I'm going back old school. Would Cactus Jack be considered WWE? Yeah, he was, I believe he's in the Hall of Fame.
Yeah, so it would absolutely be him since he's kind of a wild man and he'd be like running all over the place and he'd be confusing those guys, confusing the insects.
He's
Absolutely.
good with kids as well. See,
with Ron White, he would just, kind of talk real slow and kind of charm them, and like the Hornets wouldn't even mess with him. He's no threat. He's just, that's how I outsmarted them today, was just limiting my threat level to just being just like a normal being instead of being like a scared, jumpy, nervous person. I knew the nest was there before I went, so I just calmed my nerves before I went. Ron White style. Cactus Jack would probably just jump in there and be a maniac, stomp all over them, and probably get fucked up in the process. And we would love it as viewers.
Probably. Also, for anyone being like, what was the A to C that James just did? There is a reboot of Are You Smarter Than a Fifth Grader on Nickelodeon currently that John Cena hosts, whereas Jeff Foxworthy hosted the previous iteration.
See, I didn't even question it, James. I don't think our listeners question it either. They're used to these kind of A to F conversations.
But this was an A to B, technically.
I followed it. I did. I don't know how, but I did. I didn't make the connection that you just made, but I went along with it, and I understood the assignment.
Oh yeah.
How about your week, James? What's been going on with you?
I truly think I've just been working because we're doing the Kaiju Con this upcoming weekend. If you missed it, if you're listening to this the day it dropped. And that's 4 episodes of Mostly Speaking Sentai we're recording within 2 days. And then the following week, so if you're listening to this the day it drops, July 8th, in Chicago, you can go to Fan Expo and see us, Nicole and I, live on stage doing a podcast recording. So we're going to have all of these episodes banked, which I wanted to do this, to not have to record during July because it gets hot as fuck here. So that's good, but I had to record 3 podcasts on Sunday, and I was beat, which meant I had to edit 3 podcasts and then record another one on Tuesday. So I've just been playing catch up to make sure all of that's settled out of there, and then prepping for the 4 episodes we're about to record. And then it's just the Patreon shows that will, and this, I think, are all have to... Oh, wait, no. I'm technically recording 4 episodes of podcasts on this upcoming Saturday because we're doing the 2 Mostly Speakins, and then Hit It and Crit It. We'll be recording a bunch early in the morning, so it's just going to be another nonstop day of podcast recording.
Now, I know you're streaming this. Now the listeners have already heard the Friday and Saturday, Mostly Speaking Sentai records, but you're doing those on Twitch. So I could, I will like watch and be able to chat and stuff. Are y'all going to be responding to the chat, or that's just going to be me and Steve F and Shelby in the chat?
Well, I mean, part of Shelby won't be in the chat for one of them because Shelby will be there.
Oh, she's one of the guests.
Yeah.
Yay, I love her. She's great.
Doing Mothra versus Godzilla from like 67 or 63.
I knew this
and
already.
Then, yeah, we're doing the Mighty Morphin Power Rangers, the movie from 95, which is just perfect campy trash. Then Colossal, Cloverfield, and Mothra versus Godzilla over those 4 nights, and then will be edited audio format on our podcast feed throughout July. So even if you missed it, you'll still be able to listen in the upcoming months.
Man, the July 8th, did you say July 8th or July 9th in Chicago?
8th.
July 8th. Yeah, because me and Charlotte will be driving like right through the area. Like I told you before, I don't think there's any way we'd ever be able to take like, an hour detour and then an hour detour back to head to Nebraska. I don't think that's going to happen, James. But I mean, it's just neat the way the synchronization works that I'll be kind of in that area. I hopefully will be seeing some of the Sin Nation guys when I'm up in Nebraska, because they'll be like 40 minutes away from me, and I've already got an invite to hang out with those guys. So I'm hoping that will have already happened. Maybe by the time no, it will not have happened. It will be happening next week in the future.
Hey, Steve, you been reading any good books this week?
Books, check them out. Books, check them out. Pick up a book. You got a fantasy, imagination can take you to where you want to be. Are you curious? How can you find out? Books, check them out. Books, check them out. Read about stars and cars, play electric guitars, or cops that work hard, patrolling the boulevard, the heavyweight champ and his craziest bout. Books, check them out. Books, check them out. At your library.
No, my week has been filled with learning music for the new band I'm playing with, and that's where my head's been. I have barely been doing anything else other than just practicing and rehearsing and listening to music. I barely even cracked The Gathering Storm, and until you just asked me about the books, I'd forgotten that we even do a book corner, James. So let's get into our book corner and say that Stevie has 0 books. Does James have a book for me?
We can get the fuck out of the book corner right now. We're not rusting parring it this week because I haven't had any time to read. The only thing I've been reading is the comic books that I'm looking to sell on eBay.
I mean, that's reality. Sometimes you just don't have a chance to read. I tried to make it a point, because this is a podcast based around a book. It's based around a TV show that was a book. So I thought it'd be great to always have like a book recommendation no matter what. And I'm still sitting here with Joseph Campbell's The Power of Myth, which I recommended a couple weeks ago. Howard Kramer brought up a great book on one of his recent podcasts, which was The Prophet by Khalil Gibran. Have you read The Prophet, or have seen it, or are aware of it?
0 information about it.
Okay, it's a fantastic book written about 100 years ago, maybe less than 100 years ago. If you're just a reader that doesn't take the information in and like really reflect on it, you could read the whole book in about 2 hours. If you really want to sit and reflect with it, it could take you a couple of days, but really it's a real short, brief read. It doesn't... it's kind of based around Christianity. You could kind of like see Christian themes throughout, but it's definitely not, Christianity at all. There's no mention of like Jesus Christ or anything.
So it's like Insane Clown Posse.
It is, man. This guy puts on the paint, goes out there, gets wild, fagos it up, and then tells everybody to, live a peaceful, harmonious life while doing so.
Fagos it sup.
But yeah, music this week, we're in a really interesting place here, James. We're either going to be listening to the wonderful sounds of Intro Void this week, or the melodious tunes of James McCullum with Bleached Baseboards. Which would you rather go with this week, sir?
Let's go Bleached Baseboards because I just put them up on beattrap.com or whatever it's called. I'm trying to get fucking beats sold. I need some form of income.
You just put that up on, say the website one more time, please.
Beat Trap, maybe?
Okay, he's looking at his phone. He's making sure that we got this right.
Oh, yeah, baby. BeatStars.com.
We got to be for real here because I'm actually going to go to this website and I'm going to pick up Bleached Baseboards because that's what I do each week is I find instrumental music that I like. I already know that I like Bleached Baseboards. I've listened to it, dozens and dozens, scores of times. So that's what we're going to be listening to this week. I'm putting it up for rappers to purchase so they can make songs with it. If you just want to purchase it for like $4, go to mlmpod.com/Marshland Monster. Yeah, baby, that's where I'm going to go then. A lot of times.
And speaking of which, some generous anonymous donor donated enough for us to get the Wheel of Time PC game, so we'll be streaming that in the coming weeks.
Wow, that's great. An anonymous donor, you say? Like they didn't specify what their name was. They just sent us $8.99 to play the Wheel of Time game. Thank you, anonymous donor. That's great. So yeah, we can't do that for a bit. Like you were saying, you're banking some episodes of your podcast so you can have like a nice free July. My July is going to be a little nutty. We're going to try to still record James, but I'll be traveling for a good part of July myself. So I guess we'll start this stream in this game in, I guess, mid to late July. Does that sound like a plan?
Mm-hmm, girl.
And we'll be talking about that on sweetchildoftimepod.com. That doesn't even exist. Our email does, though. sweetchildoftimepod@gmail.com. Say that again, Steve, so we can make sure we got it right. sweetchildoftimepod@gmail.com is where you can write in letters. People have been writing me stuff on Instagram and on Facebook. I've yet to get an email other than emails from friends like Nate and the White Batmobile and Annie and my friend the Marshland Monster here will email me at sweetchildoftimepod@gmail.com. But no listeners. You guys all do the social media thing, so hit me up at a Gmail. Please. I'm going to take a break here, James. I'm not going to ask you. I'm going to tell you. So we're going to be right back. And we're back. I'm here with Marshland Monster. We've been listening to Marshland Monster, that Bleached Baseboards album. I got the whole thing here, and if you want to check it out, we already said, go to mlmpod.com. Unless you're a rapper and you want to download those beats, then you get the beats, baby. And speaking of which, you guys have like more songs. You guys being you and not Marshland. You're Marshland Monster, right? What's
Yes.
the other guy? The other is it Megan Keister? That's the Dragon Boy Suede. Is that right?
Nope, it's Howard Kramer.
Okay, yes. You guys have two songs that are already out there, right?
Yeah.
Okay, because those are the two songs that I'm listening to currently. I'm making sure I'm not missing anything. What's your next single going to be? Do y'all have that planned yet, or is that still in the works?
It's still in the works. We have a full song done, which I have sent you, called Ill-Fated Brigade. Mm-hmm. It's just him. I made the beat, did the mixing, and then we've got a couple that he's done his vocals on that I just need to write and record my stuff. And then I have one that I have written all of my stuff and I just need to record. And so we have 3 in the works, I believe.
Dang, that's nice. So the band I'm working with right now, that's their limit. Once they get 5 songs, they release that as an EP. Do you guys have any plan to do that? Or are you just going to keep releasing singles and keep it loose?
We're doing singles, and then probably once we have a bunch ready, we'll put out a physical. That's my plan.
Like cassette, CD kind of thing?
Probably cassette.
Yeah, baby. That's how you do it. I would offer you my services, but I can't run any more than 8 at a time. So I don't know.
I also want to. I'm just going professional when I get things pressed. I'm just like, I want it to be the easiest thing possible, and I want it to be like, hey, this is all this person is doing, so it's reliable time-wise, that we don't need to be like, hey, Steve, can you do this? And you're like, ooh, man, my week is swamped. I'll be able to do like a couple a day. And I was like, okay, all right.
Yep, that's great, though. I love that. I love the physical media. I mean, I was fine with it when it was gone. You know, we went through that era, I guess, like in the 2010s, I suppose, when I stopped buying physical things and everything was easily digital. But yeah, I realized that I missed like the physical object and looking at it as I'm listening to it, and it's a more of an absorption thing other than like looking at my phone and listening to something. So I think it's a great idea. I think you guys are a win-win.
Yeah, I'm thinking about doing maybe like one side all the songs and the other side just like I remix the songs. So then it's like maybe like I want to do a club remix of Gene material.
Yes. I mean, that thing could bump for like a good amount of time. If you're going to make a club remix, it can't be like a 2.5 minute song. It's got to be longer, right?
No.
I don't know. That's just what I think anyway.
At least for the cassette. If we were to release it as a single, then we would have like the extended mix.
Gotcha. Yep. That's another thing about playing in a band with other people is like I'm used to my songs generally either being like a 2.5 minute thing or just letting it go as long as I feel like. And that doesn't always work with other people. You need to collaborate and what do you call it? Work with and help me out here, James. Be my thesaurus today. Thesaurus Brown.
I think you got both of them. Collaborate, work with. That's it.
That's it. That's all I got to do is those two things and then just be myself.
Speaking about working with people,
yeah.
You know, you can't go it alone when you're trying to take down Brexit or Drax or whoever the fuck it is in Power Rangers Ninja Steel.
I know, you got to get together. You got to work as a team. And we just saw some people working together as a team this week. It was awesome.
Yeah, Steve, this is why I should have chosen an episode for us to watch, because there's no Zoe Robins in this entire, besides like, hey, I'm in the back of a car right now, and that's it. The reason why we wanted, or you wanted to do Power Rangers Ninja Steel is because the actress who is Nynaeve is in this, got her start in Power Rangers Ninja Steel. Is not in this episode at all.
Well, in the opening credits, I saw her a whole bunch, so I got pretty excited. By the opening credits, I was able to pertain that she is the White Ranger, although she has a little bit of pink in her uniform as well, but she looked like she was mostly a White Ranger. And I saw a few different hairstyles, so I thought, and then I also looked on IMDb to make sure that she was in every single episode, and sure enough, she is. And then I looked to see, like, our non-pal, Caleb Bendit. He's been a guest on your podcast, and I like to joke that you guys are best friends, and in theory, he and I are best friends as well. It's not true, okay? It's not true. But he is in every episode as well. So I was like, well, this is great. We got a talking point in every single episode. We got lots of time to kill. Let's go for this. And after watching this one episode, yeah, I think you might be right. I think we might just want to hit on the Zoe Robins specifics, because I did get, a couple of glimpses of her. I got 3 pictures of her. I got 3 screen grabs, but we only got about 5 seconds of Nynaeve in this episode. That was a little disappointing, but we did see a hell of a lot of action, though.
See, what happened, listeners, was Steve said, hey, got a guest. We were supposed to have a guest today. And that's the main reason why I didn't fight you on doing this first episode.
Okay.
Because, the guest is already committed to watching this one episode. We don't want to change it up. And maybe they had already watched it and they'd be like, well, I don't want to watch another one. I knew that I was like, I know it starts out with that preamble of the 10 years prior, and then a lot of Brody in a spaceship. And I was like, even if they meet them right away once they get to Earth, we're not going to get a lot of any of the other characters, and we don't.
No, we don't, but we got enough to watch a TV show and get the sense that we're watching Power Rangers. We saw like at least 6 fights, and that's what we're in it for, is the fights. So, yeah, this wasn't quite what I expected, but yeah, let's run through it if you don't mind.
Yeah, let's do it. I would like to say, if you would like to hear me and Nicole talk in depth about Power Rangers Ninja Steel, you can go to our episode of Ranger Command Power Hour. It's available wherever podcasts are found. I think it was 2019 in July. We did a full retrospective because this is categorically one of the least liked series in Power Rangers, but for some weird reason, Nicole and I, we know the reason, and it is a weird reason. It's just full of just earnest, soft-spoken sweet boys, and I mean sweet boys, non-gender, because every single person besides Victor and Monty and the villains are just soft-spoken sweeties no matter what's going on. A robot, soft-spoken sweet boy. A man who can shapeshift, soft-spoken sweet boy. So we love this because it is so baffling and bizarre, and just truly things were thrown at the wall in the original Sentai. I forget what the name of it was, but they were like, whatever happens, it's just going to be fun. That's it. Hell yeah. We don't care what the Zords are, the mechas or whatever you call it in the Sentai series, but it was like you have a Redbot, you have a Dog Zord, a dump truck, a dragon, and then there was one other that I can't remember. And those are the Zords. There's no motif to this besides like, hey, we're ninjas outside of this.
Yeah, like we're coming at this almost the exact angle that we've been doing this podcast from the beginning. Like where you're watching the show, and then I know about the show because I've read the books and I've been steeped in the world for a little bit, and I'm just like watching your reaction. It's the exact opposite, except for like I'm you and you're me. We did the topsy-turvy thing where you know all about Sentai, you know all about Power Rangers. I do not. So
I don't know all about Power Rangers. I'm more of a Sentai. I don't know all about Power Rangers. I'm a Sentai fan first and foremost, and the only ones that I've seen through and through that within the last 5 years, not as a child, is Ninja Steel, and then the other ones just are kind of boring to me.
Well, see, my analogy still works perfectly. You have to give it up for me because I'm no Wheel of Time expert either. I'm just a reader of the books, and I'm a fan, just like you're a fan of Sentai.
You've read through the books like 4 times, right?
Yeah, I have. And then anytime like I talk to other people who are into Wheel of Time, they're bringing up things that I have no idea what they're talking about. And they're bringing up characters that I have no clue of. And I'm still, you know, I haven't retained all the information of the books, it seems. I mean, I'm comparing myself to very confident, you know, Wheel of Time fans that have been reading these books since the 90s, you know, and I've only been a more current fan, like in the past, like 6 years or so.
Still, you are much more of an expert on Wheel of Time than I am on Power Rangers. I do want to say, Ninja Steel is based off from the 39th entry of Toei's long-running Super Sentai series. It is titled Shuriken Sentai Ninja, and that's what it's based on. It came out in 2015, I believe, went through 2016, maybe 50-some episodes. Oh, no, only 47 episodes. That's good. That's probably why it's so good.
No, I saw 44 episodes is what I saw. Maybe there's 3 bonuses or 3, like, TV movies or something like that.
No, I'm talking about Ninja.
Oh, gotcha. My bad.
And Ninja also has a fantastic movie. The movie in this one's great.
Right on. Can I start going into recapping our episode?
Yeah, baby!
Right on. So, I felt like, even though this was the first episode, I almost felt confused almost from the get-go.
Yeah, baby.
So what I got here is apparently 10 years ago, we're starting 10 years in the past, the Ninja Nexus prison fell into their backyard. Dad said it came to us for a reason. And so Dad whittled it away in the garage, and there's a big star. And he made the star, and he stuck his hand in the star. And and then some monsters came from outer space, and Brody's in trouble. And the star apparently is a Power Ranger power source of some sort. Like if the right person grasps into this thing, then they can become a Power Ranger. Does that sound basically like I got the right gist?
Yeah, and if anyone's confused, the intro starts out with an explanation every single episode. No matter if it's Ninja Steel or Super Ninja Steel, you will get that same explanation every single episode.
Okay, all right. Well, yeah, they did the thing where like there's a dad and there's two kids, and the dad is like, you know, super hot, and he's a ninja guy, and he like raises his little kids to be little ninja guys too, so they're out in the yard being ninjas. So it's really great, like when monsters come to fight, like they're ninja guys, so they can handle themselves. I don't know if that's explained in any previous episodes, like the barn and like the ninjas guys. Are all these like brand new characters?
Yeah.
Okay.
What don't you understand, Steve?
I guess just how we're supposed to know these people, like this cat.
We're not.
Okay, great.
This is us being introduced to him, baby.
Well, my first introduction, I did not like the guy because the first thing you see is this big monster foot stomping down on a toy car, and nobody likes that. Kids don't like their toys being destroyed, and it just shows you right off the bat these are rude dudes that are out for
Drax
no good.
and Morbius and whatever the fuck their names are?
I called him the kitty cat because he's got the cat face. And then the other guy, what did I call him? The monster. I was really original. I was like, yeah, that guy's the monster, I suppose.
All right, okay.
Yeah, the monster stomped the car. The kitty cat man talked really funny. Basically, the dad goes into like protect and attack mode. Just like the memes say, the dad did the exact right thing you're supposed to do. He turned into a Power Ranger, though. Is the red Power Ranger like the main Power Ranger? Is that how it usually works?
It's canonic, or like, canonically. It is generally the lead, like whoever's the red, you are the leader of the group. There have been some times when the leader is switched, like in Time Force, the Pink Ranger, because of how the Red Ranger is I'm not going to go into the lore, you fucking nerds. The Pink Ranger is more of the leader, but the Red is usually like the beacon of the team. Okay, all right. Well, he does some kind of weird battle move, and he just like vanishes into thin air, which is suspect. Like, the wire work in this episode is so fucking good. Yeah, it actually was. And of course, when I see somebody vanish and you don't see a body behind, I'm sure that they're not dead. So I think that he's just, I don't know, evaporated somewhere, I suppose. I thought maybe we'd find out in a later episode. Maybe we will. But I don't know what happened to Aiden. I think he was hiding his dad told him to hide like a ninja, which I thought, you don't need to be a ninja to hide well. You can like be a human and hide pretty well. You tell a child to hide, they're going to go under a bed or in a closet. You tell a child to hide like a ninja, they're going to dress up as like a water inspector and like be like, hey, I'm just here checking the water. Sorry, guys. Then walk out. I would think hiding like a ninja would be more like if your house has like white wallpaper, you would put on like a white outfit and then like stand in the corner like really still. See, that's a stereotypical ninja. Like ninjas aren't like all in black. They are people who will, if you need to kill a businessman, what you're going to do is dress up like a businessman or like a repair person that's there to fix a printer. So you're blending in with the scene. You're like the gray man. unnoticed, undetectable to the naked eye. You don't seem out of place, so then you can go and stab someone, and then people aren't like, well, I saw a guy just dressed to head to toe, only eyes in black. I was confused.
I like how you brought it back to Wheel of Time there, bringing up the gray man. I like that a lot. See, I'm out there in the world with my yellow fluorescent vest, and I feel like people look right past me whenever I have that thing on. So I think it's the exact same thing like you're saying. I guess I'm hiding like a ninja when I'm out there working in the world. I'm going to start thinking of myself as a hiding ninja.
So people have posted videos of if you have just an orange jacket and like some work pants, you can get into pretty much any movie theater because they'll just think you're a technician there to fix something, and then you can just go see free movies.
I've always realized that since I've been in this field of work since 2000, that I have like a free pass to get into anywhere, any neighborhood, regardless of like wealth or disparity or anything. Any neighborhood, nobody questions me being there. I haven't taken advantage of that yet, but I'm thinking about it.
You should. Get into the Super Bowl that way.
Well, I don't know. If I got into anywhere, it'd be a rock and roll show, not no Super Bowl, my friend, unless they had a good halftime show, which I don't think that exists, does it?
A good Super Bowl halftime show?
Yeah.
There have been good ones. Wasn't Prince's really good?
Yes, it was. He played in the rain and did a fantastic job. It was almost like he planned the weather, like the perfect weather for Prince. Okay, yeah, there's been a couple of good Super Bowl shows, but I'm just not interested. So yeah, we got the 10-year thing. What happened 10 years ago was Dad harnessed that ninja steel thing. Aiden hid like a ninja in the barn. Dad vanished. Brody is now a prisoner. It's 10 years later, and he is a young man being a prisoner up in a spaceship.
10 years Gator, baby. There was one line read from young Brody when he says, "You can't give it to him, Dad." It's like, okay, you're clearly a New Zealand actor and you're trying hard for this American accent, this Angel Grove accent.
Oh, yes. Yeah, I'm going to go back to one of my notes, too. I like when the monster grabbed Brody and the dad was like, "Let him go." And the monster was like, "Oh, okay."
Yes. And he's like, "Yeah, all right. It doesn't matter anyway. We've got you surrounded." There's 3 dudes. How's that surrounded?
Which leads to this point. Brody is a prisoner up in their spaceship, but he's like goofing around with like his captives and his captors, and it seems like he's just kind of like having a good time and like doesn't mind these guys at all. He's just kind of a part of the crew.
I think it's a scenario where they're like, well, we're so much more powerful than you, and we're in a fucking spaceship. Where can you go? So, yeah, you can, like, walk around and do whatever you want as long as you're doing also the chores we're giving you.
So where did the funny man come from? I know he's supposed to be comedic because every time he says a line, he has a certain cadence to his voice, and they play like a little goofy music behind him. So I guess he's supposed to be the comic relief. Where did he come from? Is he just there? Is that it?
He's another prisoner. You find out his backstory later. This is Mick. He is played by an actor that has been in a lot of Sentai series, and people love him. And I got so much flack on our Ninja Steel retrospective of like, I fucking despise this character. And people are like, what are you talking about? He's great, the actor, we love him. And it's like, yeah, but that doesn't mean this character is good. I hate his bushy eyebrows they gave him. He's, I think, from like a lion or a tiger planet, but he can, I guess, I forgot he can shapeshift. They might throw that out of there immediately because why they jet set out. Their plan is to be like, let's jump out of the trash chute that's raining trash on Earth, and no one's like, this is how we're gonna survive.
Yeah, there's no parachutes, there's no like nothing to land, no water to land into. It's just fall to your death. And luckily Redbot's there to save Brody. But then okay, let's go back to I call him the mop because that's the first thing I saw him do was turn into a mop. So like I'm like, he's forever the mop to me now, I suppose. And it seemed like he wasn't supposed to be there. That's why I was like kind of questioning, like, is he like a smuggled individual on this ship and nobody knows he's there? Like,
that could be nice. I like that. It's not, though. He's like a great Gadzook or whatever from... you're like, yeah, he was right here. And then he's gone. And you're like, fuck, dude, you're making me seem like a crazy person.
I like how he turned himself into a mop. So Brody's holding the mop. And then Brody does like a ninja switcheroo with the other guy. And like he gives the other guy the mop, Nick. So like the monster is holding the guy he's not supposed to be seeing, and then like the other guy's holding the sword, so he could like easily just like run him through if he wanted to, but he was like, just kidding, here's your sword back, buddy.
Yeah, and Brody is jacked, guys. Like he's just he could be in a T pose, and you'd be like, holy shit, his muscles are about to rip out of the arms of his t-shirt.
I kind of got the gist that I was supposed to already know who Redbot was, and I was supposed to already know who... Is it Nick or Mick?
Mick.
Yeah, I just got the vibe I was supposed to already know them, so that's why I was kind of confused from the get-go.
I think on the Ninja Steel retrospective, I was like, I explained what I didn't like about Mick, and I go, and quite frankly, I don't like him just walking around being a racial slur towards my people.
I just didn't like him because it was the way he like screwed up his face before he would tell a joke. I know it's supposed to be like for little kids, and the little kids need a little guidance for like, this is the funny guy, you gotta laugh at him, but I just didn't think it played well, and I was questioning like the jumping out of the plane thing too, just like you were. We'll get to that in a moment.
I think he's the light-hearted one, not the comedic relief, because Victor and Monty are the comedic relief and the saving grace, the just shining beacons of this. I want so badly for the Lightning Collection to make figures of them, and someday it will. Maybe not now, maybe in 15 years, but they will get their justice. I am stans of them. They're nice people, and the characters are great. A lot of people are like, oh, the fart jokes. They made too many fart jokes. Well, one, that's not on them. None of these acting choices are really on that. This is all direction, but I counted because so many people, you said there was like 42 episodes, something like that?
44, yeah.
There's maybe 6 fart jokes in, like, 6 episodes have farts related in them. I was like, seriously, 6 out of 44 you're going to be so fucking pissed about, you baby chuds?
I'm not trying to play devil's advocate, but you know when these shows aired, they probably reran the hell out of them all week. So if there was like 2 fart jokes in an episode, like the average viewer saw it like a dozen times that week. So
I'm not talking the average viewer. I'm not talking the average viewer, though. I'm talking the Power Rangers fans who will record this or torrent it, whatever, watch it once, and then be like, oh, I didn't like that. There was a fart joke. And then the next fart joke happens in 6 episodes. They're like, oh, my God, it's everywhere. Oh, jeez.
Well, I want to start working our way towards Victor and Brody.
Yeah.
Victor, Brody, was that his? Not Brody. Victor and Monty. But first, we got to get past there. We got to get out of the spaceship first. They do this thing where they make monsters fight each other so they can try to grasp that thing in the star to become powerful. So, like, this whole thing, like the guy, the announcer of this whole situation, what was it called? I wrote it down somewhere.
Galaxy Warriors.
Galaxy Warriors. This could have been in a Gwar show. This reminded me of Gwar so much. Like this guy's cadence, the way he talked, the way he said his jokes, and the way he announced and gesticulated his body. This was totally off of Gwar. And I know Gwar is just basically like just a bunch of grown men who's, you know, still like that, you know, I guess sophomore humor. This is right up Gwar's alley right here. I mean, I couldn't think of anything past Gwar when I was watching this.
Yeah. The only critique that I will go with that people will say about this show is that the Galaxy Warriors segment was so underutilized. They could have really turned this section into like a banger of a concept, and would have been a great, like, if you would have turned this into a 2D fighter or a 2.5 fighter, this would have been a great concept and like kicking off point to be like, hey, this is what we're doing. Hell yeah.
Yeah, you're right. And like they did their battle, they came back, the winner got to stick his hand in there and see if he won, if he could be a powerful Power Ranger or whatever. The only thing he wins, another Gwar trope, a trip to the hospital. That's totally a Gwar joke right there. So I'm watching this, and it's like they got this, what do they call it? The Ninja Steel, the Ninja Nexus Prism. And they know that Brody's dad could reach into it, so why haven't they asked Brody to reach into it? Or why hasn't Brody even thought to even try to do that? I guess they don't discuss that. We're just supposed to think that 10 years goes by in a flash, and that's that.
I think it's because, like, this kid is technically our enemy, but people who are underneath us and kind of wanting to conquer worlds, if they get this, we can work with them, opposed to Brody gets it, he's going to work against us.
Okay, yeah, that makes total sense then. They're trying to keep him, maybe they knew and they're trying to keep him away from it. That makes a lot of sense.
They also are like, let's build new ninja stars. And I'm like, I forgot Ninja Steel is technically a thing in this, and it's used to make upgrades to the ninja power stars.
Okay.
A lot is flooding back to me, and this is a banger of a show.
Well, we're going to meet our high school kids now because we cut back down to Earth. And so we get our first meeting of... okay, this is high school because they're getting off of a bus.
Yes.
And this bold young man chose to come to high school dressed as a magician, complete with a magician hat, the magician scarves. He's, getting a scarf wrapped around other young ladies around school. He's a very brave man.
Well, yeah, he's Presto Changeo. Of course he's dressed as a magician. He is a magician.
I went to school with a guy who would do as such, but nobody had the courtesy to allow him to do a magic show on school premises. That would never, ever have happened. So I'm glad to see that this magician got to actually... He was showing his magic to an appreciative audience at one point, and I like that. That, like, this is the kind of school where, that's accepted. I'm happy for him. What's his name? The magician?
Preston.
Oh, like Presto. Preston.
Yes.
Perfect. He gets his first meeting with, I'm positive, is either going to be his best friend or possibly his love interest, the hoverboard cool chick. Does she have a name? I didn't catch it.
Sarah. And I will tell you this, no love interests in this entire show.
Okay, so there's going to be best friends, obviously, because they have a kinship from the beginning.
Besides the two that are already in a relationship, we will not get other relationships.
Okay, I'll have to ask you about that when we get to it. So after this hoverboard incident, we finally get to see our girl, Nynaeve, Zoe Robins. She's in a big, nice yellow pickup truck, which I thought was appropriate. Being like yellow, the color of an Aja, that she is, she's a great healer. She's healed a lot of people. So seeing her in that yellow truck, seeing that wolf behind her, made me think about Perrin. And like, they're really laying a lot of groundwork for Wheel of Time in this one shot right here. I love it. But then she's not the yellow Power Ranger, though. Why does she drive a yellow truck if she's not going to be the yellow Power Ranger?
Well, she doesn't drive it. Her boyfriend, forget his name, maybe Caleb. He is the Yellow Ranger.
Okay.
It's his truck.
Oh, so she's just kind of helping him get it started. He's doing some work underneath the hood there. That's what's happening. That makes perfect sense then. Okay.
One of the best episodes, which we did a watch along of it, I believe on the Mostly Speaking Sentai feed, is an episode where this boy, a high schooler, fixes a car in front of a mechanic, and the mechanic's like, hey, I'd love to give you a full-time job. And then this boy says, guys, I gotta stop being a Power Ranger and I'm dropping out of high school. I got my dream job. And I'm like, holy shit, this is a children's show. It was one of the most baffling things I have ever watched. And I was like, Nicole, you have to watch this show.
That's depressing. Like, instead of being like a Power Ranger and fighting things for the greater good, I just want to be a regular schmo and work on cars and get dirty up to my elbows. That's I don't know the message that's sending there.
It's that trade schools and shit. It's good.
Well, trade schools are good, but I mean, would you go from being a Power Ranger to... I guess he would, I suppose. I'm going to go to a break, James, okay? We'll be right back.
Hell yeah.
We're back. We were talking about how briefly we saw our friend Zoe Robins and her boyfriend. Anything else in that? I mean, that was such a brief scene. Is there anything else we got to go on before we talk about other characters?
No, let's start banging through these notes, baby.
Right on. So we're just meeting Monty and Victor. And I got to tell you, I'm getting big Mikey Day vibes from Victor. You know who Mikey Day is from SNL? I'm not alone in that, right? This guy seems like a natural comedian, like a Mikey Day type of guy. Yeah,
he's doing pretty well as a stuntman these days, of being in some pretty big movies doing stunt work.
Yeah, he might have been my favorite character because I just liked his delivery. I didn't like, I don't like jocks generally, but I kind of got the vibe that he wasn't, I kind of got the vibe there was more to him. But I just like his choices. I just thought he would be like a good character to maybe hate, or maybe a good character to like have redemption later down the road. Either or would be great with me.
Yeah, he is not a typical jock. He is someone who sees someone else doing anything, playing a video game, playing chess, doing tennis, and he's like, I'm better than you at that, even though I've never done it. And then we'll try and fail miserably to do it unless he is obviously cheating.
Okay, yeah, we saw a little bit of that here where he jumped on the hoverboard thinking he could do better than Sarah, and he obviously could not.
Mm-hmm.
And then Monty was always at his side, like brushing off his shoulder, doing his homework for him, cradling his ego. What's up with that? Are they brothers, or is it just like a mentor relationship, or like what is this?
Caleb Bendit has said he is playing him as someone who is in love with Victor.
Yeah, I kind of got that vibe, but almost in like a more like a, like an Igor to like a Dr. Frankenstein kind of thing. Like, I'll help you do whatever you got to do. I'm here, at your service.
The only reason you would read it that way is because Haim Saban, it just is sometimes a piece of shit and just shut down any chance that you could be gay in this show. And it wasn't until he sold the company and it went over to Hasbro that we've gotten openly queer characters. Because that wasn't even open. There was a hint in the newest Power Rangers movie, the one from 2017 or something, that the Yellow Ranger might have been a lesbian, but we didn't get to dive more into that because of it not getting a second movie.
Okay. Well, I mean, I guess they're pairing people up, I guess is what they're doing here. So, we got Sarah and Preston, and then we got Victor and Monty. And then the other pair, there's another pair that I'm missing out on too, right?
Yeah, the couple that we won't see until next episode.
Yeah, Zoe and Caleb. Did you say his name in the show is Caleb, right?
Maybe it was. I'll research that right now.
We'll need to know because we're going to be watching a couple more of these episodes. Not all of them, dear listener, but, a few of these that focus more on Zoe Robins. So the next thing that we see is Brody and the Mop and Redbot hatch an escape plan. They put a big blanket over the Nexus thing, and then for some reason they take the blanket off. Like when they move it about 5 feet, he whips the blanket off and is like, look, I'm hiding it.
Yeah.
And that's when somebody sees it, when he whips the blanket off and he shoots at his hand and they have to jettison out into space. Yeah.
Their names are Calvin and Haley.
Haley. I remember the Haley part. Calvin. I'm glad they didn't name him Caleb because that would have been way too confusing for us.
Because there is a K. That might be why they both start with C-A.
Yep. So yeah, they basically jettison out of that thing. There's a bunch of debris falling out of the sky along with them. And what's his name decides to transform into something, but we don't actually see that, do we? I guess that's for next episode.
Maybe it looked like a bouncy ball, but we also missed Preston, because this is like intercut with that. And then when Sarah and Preston become friends, it's because Victor jet sets after Preston is doing this magic show on the quad and turns into goes splash, a quick puff of smoke comes, and he has changed completely into like a mascot dragon outfit.
Yeah.
That did not get the reaction it deserved. That is a very good trick to do in a split second. Truly change out of your clothes, but also we find out that he doesn't have clothes on underneath, which means he was just in his boxers in a public school quad in front of it. Maybe that's what this sick freak gets off on.
He is super brave, braver than I thought. And I thought, I mean, I have a high schooler, so I know that if you're doing a show in front of a group of high school kids and they placidly give you like unenthusiastic applause, that's the equivalency of a standing ovation. Because if they didn't like what you were doing, they wouldn't be looking at you. They would be looking at their phones. They would be whispering to each other. They'd have their backs to you. So I think the response he got was completely appropriate.
Okay.
But I'm questioning if this is a high school or not, because I remember when one of the characters walks in, apparently at the first day of school, there's like a customer service desk. Like as soon as you walk into the school, it's like you walk into Target and you go over to the customer service desk and you talk to somebody about, where you need to be. And that's interesting to me as well.
I think that might be because this show is made by so many different cultures. Like it is a Japanese show that, like a man, Haim Saban, I forget specifically where he's from, but it like immigrated to the United States. Yeah, so you have those three cultures, but then it's also being filmed for many years in New Zealand. So it could be like somewhere along the lines that is how school is set up in one of the, like just somewhat, or maybe it's not even a cultural thing. It's just like in this one town, hey, that's where I grew up and that's what my high school was like. And it's like, is it though? And then everyone on set's like, that's absolutely not, but that's what the set designer's saying school's like. It also lets us, it cuts down on the need for sets when you need to talk to the principal or the receptionist. You don't need to go into another area.
Yeah, I guess that makes the most practical sense. You're right.
That's probably the reason. None of the cultural things, just budgetary.
Yeah, they fall to earth. They being Mopman, Redbot, and Brody. And then our new heroes, Preston and Sarah, run off to go investigate on their hoverboard. Mm-hmm. We cut back over to them, and it's just a real charming scene with Redbot and Brody, and they just decide that they're best friends or something. They it's almost like they embrace, and they like really at that moment they're like, we're buddies, we're pals. So like if we're coupling everybody up, and that's who our couple is here, is Brody and Redbot.
We also see that Redbot's got a little booty on him.
He does. I didn't write that down, but I noticed it. That's for sure. But yeah, they fall to Earth. So does a Nexus Prism, and so do some monsters. The monsters start attacking. Luckily, Brody is still connected to the ship's computer. That's a hell of a lot of luck there. I don't know how that's possible. Maybe that'll come into play on the rest of the show, because that'd be pretty convenient for plot purposes. Yeah, that's a great convenience there. But yeah, they prepare for total destruction, because that's what the monster tells them to do. Prepare yourselves for total destruction. And Brody finds out that I can't defeat this guy by myself. I sure wish that there was some help here. I sure wish like two other individuals would show up and be able to grasp into the Nexus thing and become Power Rangers with me. And he gets that wish. They show up and they're just as powerful as he. So now we got Brody, we got Sarah, and we got Preston, and they're all in their Power Ranger outfits, and they declare themselves Power Rangers.
Yeah, they see the Power Ninja stars glowing in there, and they're like, yo, which one should we choose? And it's like, maybe we should choose the ones that all clothes in our wardrobe are color schemed to. And they're like, hell yeah, dude.
That's why I was wondering why Zoe Robins was going with the yellow, but now I see it's not her truck. Makes total sense. I'm assuming that wolf is her pet because it's like white, and she turns into the White Ranger. And then I saw in the the opening segment, I think she was running around on all fours at one point. She might have wolf powers or something. That's fantastic. Can't wait to see that. But for right now, though, we just got the 3 Power Rangers, and then we have 3 extra stars in there that need to be grasped by 3 other individuals, and I'm thinking who they might be. I'm pretty sure that one of them is going to be Victor, the jock, and it's got to be. And then
No, these two will never be Power Rangers.
Victor and Monty?
No. So in Power Rangers, there will always be or most of the time, there will be a 6th Ranger that we're introduced to like 16 or plus episodes in.
I know who that's going to be. It's got to be the brother Aiden. That's my guess. It's like the
Who
6th
knows?
one is going to be Aiden.
Who knows?
But for right now, the 5 of them, I was thinking it would be Victor. And then I was thinking like Monty would be like kind of like a Power Ranger helper type. So if it's not Victor, then it's got to, I know it's Zoe Robins. So I know Haley. And then I guess her boyfriend, Kelvin.
Yeah, dude, this is all in the intro.
I don't remember that. I guess I was conflating, or maybe I was mixing up Kelvin and Victor into one person, because I was sure that Victor was going to be a Power Ranger.
Oh, nope.
I'm disappointed, but at least I get to see Victor. I get to see Victor being Victor, though, which is good.
Also, you should have assumed that when I said I wish there was a figure of Victor and Monty. Since they're not Power Rangers, they might never get one.
I thought you were just referring to Monty, because I didn't think that, it's clear that he's not going to be a Power Ranger. So I'm very sad now that the jock is not going to be a Power Ranger. Maybe he's going to be a villain and get on the bad guy's side. I would love that. Oh my God. Please tell me that happens. You're not going to tell me shit.
Do you want me to spoil it?
No.
Okay.
I want the show to be as pure as possible, as pure as the driven snow.
So the last thing we get, though, is them saying, oh, we gotta hide this entire prism. Let's bury it with big old rocks. And then it just like lifts up, it floats in the air, then shoots off. And they're like, what is going on here? And then it ends. Yeah,
that hiding job was awful. Just those big rip-rap rocks on top of it. I think we did skirt over one part, which was right before. Oh, when they team up, the big team up. They're high school kids. That's another thing that I was wanting to confirm, is that they're in high school and not college, because when they beat the guy, they take out their, like, first they make these stars and they have these cool star things. Then they figure out they have guns, and they immediately start like blasting the guns. Like as soon as they get a gun in their hand, they're indiscriminately just blasting away. I thought that was questionable at best. But after they defeat that guy and they bury the thing, they decide, like, we're a team now. We're going to do this together. So I guess they're just going to drop out of high school and like run away from home and be Power Rangers? Is that right?
Nope.
No?
No, have you never seen Power Rangers? They go to school and be Power Rangers.
My thing with Power Rangers is going to Hot Topic with Caleb when he was 11 and buying Power Ranger t-shirts, and me vaguely being aware that Power Rangers were on the television that he was watching, because I watched Ed, Edd, and Eddy with him. I liked watching that. I did not like watching Power Rangers. I just it just went over my head, I suppose. I'm a Gen Xer, so it just didn't fall in my my wheelhouse. But it's all new to me. But I'm enjoying it now only because Miss Zoe Robins. And I know that in every single scene that all those characters were thinking to themselves, like, something's missing from this equation here. We need, like, a great woman to be part of our team. And I hope they get that. I certainly hope they do. So what episode are we going to watch next of this show, James?
I don't know the specific number or name of it, but we will be watching the episode where Haley and Sarah's parents fall in love and just their dumbassery of trying to, like, they're best friends. Why would you not want them to be married? And they're like, we can't have this happen. That's probably going to be the one we'll watch.
That sounds perfect. I'd love to see it. So yeah, we'll watch that probably in a couple weeks. We're going to have some upcoming guests, James. We're going to have Annie Jean Lynn joining us. We're going to have Titanosaur coming back. Both of them have been on the show before. They're returning guests. And we'll watch some more Power Rangers. So that's it for the week, James. What do you got to plug for us this week?
Hey guys, go to mlmpod.com to find out more information about my other podcast. Listen and download my music there, or just wherever you listen to music, search Marsh Land Monster. That's 3 words. Then head over to patreon.com/MLMpod, where for $5 a month you get exclusive podcasts and content. It's a good time. You should check it out. But $10 patrons get, the beautiful straight to Patreon and more exclusive podcasts. Also, past watch-alongs and live streams we've done over on the Patreon. And you get shout-outs every single free feed podcast. So let's begin with that, starting with Steve F., Eric Berry of Ranger Command Power Hour, Alex Z, The Waz, Orion, he's a rapper, Defo, D-F-O, Kayla, AK2 Grapes, Jordan B, The Chaos Witch, my brother-in-law, Joshua, Steve Barnes, the guy that is on this show.
Me.
My mother, Margaret, and finally, Lil Corey's BFF and Rumi, Shane. Also want to give a huge shout out to Courtney H, who recently joined the Patreon and donated to MLM Pod. Thank you very much.
A new friend. That's wonderful. I was letting you just go on there because I was going to group everybody into their respective ajas as we go, but we'll do that later.
Sense.
That's fine. You guys are all Aes Sedai in my eyes, and me too, because I'm a $10 patron, so I am an Aes Sedai as well. My plugs this week, as usual, please check out Intro Void on Instagram. That's intro.void. Check out my other band, Rebecca Crow. We got a new song recently with these two bands combined. That is about it this week for Sweet Child of Time. James, over there in Chicagoland, I hope that you always find some water and some shade.
You find water and shade as well, my friend.
Aye, aye, Captain, and goodbye.
Bye.